Scuba's just a fun word to say, you know?
Scuba. It is. I love scuba. Let's go scuba.
What's the plural of scuba? Scuba.
Scuba. Can I saying scuba be the cold open for this episode?
Scuba.
Scuba. Just go out of context just to sing scuba. Scuba. Welcome to Drafted. I'm your host and apprentice, and as always, I am joined by my dear friend and co-host, Preston Thompson. Preston, how are you doing tonight, and what are you drinking, my friend?
I'm good, Dan. We're only a half hour behind, which is a new record for us, I think. So I'm doing pretty good. I'm drinking one of those pre-made cocktails that you have seen probably in the liquor store, a pre-made old-fashioned, where every other time I've tried that, it's been pretty gross, but this one is not so bad, so I'm...
Really?
It's a little sugary for me, but...
Yeah, all those pre-made cocktails are.
It's going to get me pretty wired for our lovely draft tonight.
Oh, nice. Looking forward to seeing how that plays out in your draft.
It's a different Preston that shows up week to week, is what we've found.
Yeah. Let's do a draft of different forms of Preston.
Okay. Angry Preston goes first.
I know we have plans... and our guests won't have prepared for this, but let's pivot. Let's pivot to different forms of Preston.
I'm all in. Let's go. Though I think that's more of a Brit draft.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point, actually. Yeah, we'll Mike, we just saw Britt walk past you, Mike. Could we just get her on? We'll kick you out.
Yeah, but that's fine. That's okay. That's okay.
And I'm just noticing that his name that he has written in our Riverside is the best nerd. We are thrilled to be joined this week by Friggin' Nerd Mike from the Friggin' Nerds Media. Mike, thanks so much for coming on. How are you doing, and what are you drinking tonight?
Yo, what's up, guys? So happy to be back. That's right, the best nerd is here. I am drinking some coffee with a tad bit of Bailey's in it, just a little bit, because I knew I was coming on. I knew I was like, I got to sprinkle it in there for the guys. But the best part about it is it's in a fantasy footballer's mug. So, you know.
Can I ask you a question? Do you like bourbon or whiskey at all?
A little bit. See, I'm more of a like it has to taste fruity.
Okay.
I like a fruity drink.
Fair. There is a Buffalo Trace cream that is unbelievable in coffee.
Yes.
It's a wonderful wintertime thing, but I always just keep some around for pretty much anything. So that has replaced Bailey's.
I'll have to try it.
Drink Bailey's
I do like to try different things because I drink coffee all the time. And so like just putting a little bit of something else special in there is something I like to do. So yeah, I'll definitely try that out.
Have you tried mayonnaise?
No.
The actual condiment? Mayonnaise?
Yes.
No, I've not tried. Did you listen to our podcast? Or we had a conversation recently. It was during our stream on Friday. We were talking about our wheel of punishment that we have on the show, eating spoonfuls of mayo. Would you guys be up to that?
How many spoonfuls?
For money, maybe.
We ended up on 2 spoonfuls, but we ended up changing it to a condiment of choice.
Oh, well, yeah, so that I can do.
That's easy.
Yeah.
What would your condiment of choice
sauce be? Ooh.
Can I give you mine? Mine's the best, clearly.
Yeah, what's yours?
Relish. Relish is like you just ate a pickle.
Relish
good
is
job.
pickles.
Yeah, good job.
Here's my problem with that is I hate pickles. So
well, that's not going to work for you then, yeah.
No. I feel like the easiest thing would be like, I don't know, like barbecue sauce seems like it would be smooth.
Yeah, super easy. Yeah, any condiment is sort of a cop out there. So you guys need to cut the difference a little bit.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, two things of mayo would be tough because
that'd be terrible.
Maybe doing the first one wouldn't be so bad, but then having to go back in again.
You got to go back in. Yep.
And knowing you have to rewrite that train.
It would be one of those. You just have to cram it in back to back. You can't think about it. You just got to do it. And
shot chaser.
Then you have so much mayo in your mouth. You know.
Did you guys not see? I don't want to get back into football because it's not what we're talking about tonight. But did you guys not see that Will Levis, who got drafted to the Tennessee Titans, takes mayo in his coffee?
What? So that was where the question came from.
Yeah, that's why I asked. Yeah, he's a Tennessee Titan now, Mike. So get on it.
That's
Here's the thing. My first instinct is that like that is clearly irrefutable proof that he will be a failure as an NFL quarterback.
Yes.
Because
of the mayo.
No successful human being would put mayonnaise in their coffee.
Yeah.
But
Also his accuracy, but more the mayo in the coffee.
But then I think like Patrick Mahomes puts ketchup on his steak, and is that really
Does he really?
Yeah, but like pretty famously, he's in ketchup commercials and stuff because it came out that he puts
Shameful,
ketchup.
absolutely shameful.
I know.
Yeah, I mean that wouldn't be my first choice, but it doesn't seem as gross as mayo and coffee.
Yeah,
like that seems terrible.
Yeah.
Oh.
How much does he put in? Like I mean, he must put enough in that he tastes it, right? Or why would he?
He puts the amount in that makes it look like you put cream into the equivalent of a Dunkin' Donuts coffee. So it's not like a little.
It's quite a bit.
That's so upsetting. Mm-hmm. I had forgot about that. I had blocked that from my brain until you just reminded
me. Sorry.
Thank you that.
Sorry about that. What's funny? It looks unnatural too. The coffee is trying to reject it. When he stirs it in, it's like still in chunks for a bit.
I'm sure.
It's like, please don't do this to me.
It's like oil and water. It's like separate.
Exactly.
Like,
it's like I don't want this at all.
He's just swallowing chunks of mayonnaise while drinking coffee.
Oh, it feels like it's just went. It just feels like it went bad. Like the creamer went bad, so it's like thick.
It's
that's what I would think.
Yeah,
it'd be terrible.
Yeah, that's tough. I am not drinking anything with mayonnaise in it. I'm drinking a natural lime White Claw, which I have left over from I did a charity stream on Twitch, raising money for the National Healthcare for the Homeless Council. And I had some things like where people could make me drink and stuff, and it was a 12-hour stream, so I want to be drinking a little bit for the fun. And I'm not normally a White Claw drinker, but that's just something you can drink all day and not feel horrible. So I did that, and we raised over $2,100. It's incredible.
That's awesome.
Absolutely was incredible.
We did a little bit of live drafted during the charity stream as well, which I need to put on the drafted YouTube so you guys can check that out. We did a couple brackets that I think the drafted listeners would like. But yes, that's what I'm drinking tonight. Preston, what are we drafting tonight?
Tonight, we're going back to school, boys. Gonna learn a little something. No, it's college. It's okay. It's not middle school, Dan.
I will say this. We just left our oldest for his freshman year of college, and the college experience is completely different than what it was when I went.
Examples.
I mean, it was mine. Oh, the freaking dorm room he has is an apartment. I mean, it is not a dorm room. It is a full. They've got like a commons area with a couch. A little mini, it's not a full kitchen, but they have got like a fridge.
Kitchenette.
A little kitchenette area. Then they've got two separate rooms that have the classic dorm experience, but they've got a whole apartment essentially. Campus has all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Each floor of the dorm has like these little common areas, and like I was sitting there looking at
build character into the youth of today,
right?
If they're not forced to share a 4 foot by 8 foot space, barely big enough for one person.
But when we left there, I was like, "Can we stay?" And now I'm drafting like I'm staying. This is great. This would be my college schedule if I stayed with Micah on dorm or on campus.
Well, here's the thing: we're not drafting just any courses here. Dan found a list today.
I did not find this list. This whole draft was submitted in the draft cord.
Ooh.
By Aguilar. So we do go through your show suggestions and show ideas. So
well done, Aguilar.
If you have any brilliant ideas,
very nice
for the show, send them in there, and we will draft them if we think they're good. Yeah, Aguilar may be your personal bully every episode, but some good ideas.
Listen. I want to say publicly, even though Aguilar probably doesn't want me to. He did come into the DMs after a couple episodes ago when I called him out for being mean. And he came in and apologized. And I want to say, I was saying Aguilar was being mean as a joke. I did not actually take it. I don't take any offense to when somebody gets really mad. The only person I really care about, like, when they get upset about a pick of mine is Dan, which is really inconvenient because he's on the show with me. So everybody else in the
we-
Discord, though,
yeah.
I love the feedback and love the engagement. So no, Aguilar, love Aguilar. He's great.
No, he is one of our most active members in the draft court, and we
Yes.
are very, very thankful for that. So happy to do one of his suggested drafts. Hopefully, we do it justice for him.
Yeah, well, this list, in short, is bonkers. It is not like Statistics 101 or Accounting or Intro to Philosophy. These are the 29 coolest college classes you won't believe actually exist. That is the headline from 17 magazine.
How they settle on 29? Do you think for this?
I think they found 29,
that-
and then they were like, I've
They
spent
knew
too
it was
long on
one
this
more
article.
or even 30.
I would
What-
think
what
they
are we
would
doing
find. I would feel like they would find another one just to make it an even
Here's-
30.
Yeah.
Because like 29 is just strange.
Here's what actually
remember.
happened. I can actually answer this question for you. The URL says
Oh.
10 coolest college classes. They made this list, I'm guessing, in like 2015, based on some of the selections here. That seems like the sweet spot. And then they come back every 3 months and just add
They
another
keep
one
adding
in.
to it.
Because
Keep
the
adding
URL
to it.
hasn't
Yep.
changed, but now they're at 29. Because it says
Yeah,
updated
I like
March
it.
10th, 2023, but some of these references are a little dated.
I see that.
So
Gotcha.
see 10
That's-
coolest college
okay,
classes.
that makes,
Good
that makes
catch.
a lot of sense because when
Yeah.
I sent the link to Preston, he was like, "Oh, looks fun or something," but it looks like it's only probably 10 classes, and I was like, "Just click the link, man. What are you
I
talking
know,
about?"
I'm sorry. I read the URL.
I
read the URL like a weirdo.
Yeah, no, it's completely fair. It does say right in the link, 10 coolest
Preston's
college
analyzing each section of the URL. Life,
Yeah.
school,
Interesting.
advice.
Advice. It's in the advice category.
G231.
classes. So yeah, I didn't say anything, but I thought that was weird. But now it makes sense.
Yep. Okay.
Our draft order for this draft, as always, determined by our random.org. One of these days, they'll sponsor an episode. Are you guys trying to manifest?
We're doing our jazz fingers to try and summon the first pick.
All right. Well, one of the two of you will be happy.
Oh.
One of the two of you will be satisfied with your jazz fingers performance, and that person is Mike. Congratulations, guys!
Yes.
Wow, that
man.
reveal had some showmanship that's been lacking from the other shows.
was amazing.
Yeah, that was the
great.
most dramatic reveal of the draft
Now
order. And then
here's-
Preston, you have the second pick.
Okay,
That's
that's fine.
pick, as always. Snake style draft, so reverse order on even rounds. Any questions about the draft before we get started? This one's pretty straightforward, right? We have a
Yes.
straight list that we're working with. So.
Straightforward.
I do, for the reference of the both of you, I have the description of these courses pulled up. If you'd like me to read it
I
out
have
loud
them
once picked.
around here as well.
Yeah, I have them up as well. Now, my issue, I kind of have a 1A and 1B. I just wanted to make sure I got one of the two.
Shouldn't you have wanted the second pick?
Yeah, that means second pick is the best, Mike. Come on. What are you doing?
Yeah, true. I feel like I would go with my gut, though. I don't know if we've started yet, but
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, okay,
Why not, you know?
I actually do have a question.
Oh, okay.
Because we're drafting the best. What qualifies as best here? Because I see some of these that would actually be beneficial to my work life, and like they would teach me something that I could take into the real world. Or as best, like
Is this
this
like-
seems really easy and really fun, and I could just totally get an A and then get out. What is
I mean,
best?
I think, there are several things that are factors here that I don't want to get too deep into because I want to win the draft. But basically, I think you're just picking the six things that our voters and listeners at the end of the day will say, like, okay, this is my collection of class for the semester. I can't pick and choose my individuals. I'm just taking a big chunk. And which one are they going to want to take at the end of the day when they see the list?
Got it. So it may not be like practical effect. It may just be like this seems like the most fun if I'm forced to go back to
Yeah,
school.
I think fun will be
Yes.
the most important factor here.
okay.
It's all about the fun factor, just like the rest of the
Yeah.
show.
The hashtag FF.
Yeah, because realistically, when you're in college, you're not looking for like logical.
Yeah.
fun.
You're not looking for practical skills.
career.
There was one class. There was one class on this list where I was like, "Damn, I could really use that one." Right
Oh,
now.
there's
They're
3 or 4
like
of them
that.
that I'm like, oh, I learned something here that I could take into my practical job.
But it's not
Yeah.
one of my top picks
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
Okay. I definitely had a few of those in my top picks. Mike, what's the first pick of what do we get? The best college semester draft. What are we calling this? Let's call it that. Let's call it the best college semester draft. Mike, what's the first pick?
I think the first pick I have to go with, because my gut is going one way, my brain is going the other.
Which is
Head
the
dumb,
better thing
heart
to trust?
smart.
Yes.
Can't
But
lose.
I think I'm gonna try to go. I'm hoping that we have some nerds listening in that will help with some of these votes. And so I'm gonna play to that a little bit.
I know where you're going.
And I've got to draft the Harry Potter literary tradition and popular culture class.
Okay.
Now, listen to the description here, everybody, and tell me that this is not going to be a fun class, because this is crazy. You'll be sorted into one of the Hogwarts houses, and then you'll analyze the book, digging into how and why Harry made the reading so magical. And don't be surprised if things get a little competitive, because one of the students that took it single-handedly won the House Cup for Ravenclaw. This sounds like you're going to Hogwarts in a class. I'm all in on it.
This is the most friggin' nerds pick in the history of.
This is like
their
I
guest
got
appearance
to
on
do
Bill.
it.
This is like fucking Jimi Hendrix taking Intro to Guitar. Like, are you really gonna enjoy this at all?
Oh, 100%. Are you
You
serious?
could
Walking on the
teach the
Hufflepuff flag?
class. Just
I
get
could
up
Lee
front.
Lee probably is the teacher of this class. What university is this at?
Lee University.
Otis College of Art. Otis
In Rhode
College
Island?
of Art and Design.
Okay.
Located
Is that in
Island?
Rhode Island?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. You just made that up. I mean, you're gonna win some votes over with this pick, but I don't know. I feel like I'm on Harry Potter overload a little bit. I just can't imagine this is gonna be like to me, the whole point is to widen your horizons and experience things you wouldn't have otherwise done. And this is like a Tuesday for you. This is what you usually do.
Preston, I feel like you and I look at college completely differently.
So that
wanna
easy A,
go-
baby.
I want to go into a class that I feel confident I'm going to at least have a baseline, a floor of a B plus, and that I'm going to enjoy the content, enjoy digging in, play some Hogwarts House Cup games. Let's. Are you serious?
All I
like
can
that
think
sounds
about-
like a blast.
All I can think about is how much I know I would hate the person who single-handedly won the House Cup.
I know. Like how everybody hates Harry.
We're in college
Yes.
in a Harry Potter class. Stop fucking trying so hard.
What an absolute tryhard.
Jesus.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it.
That person thinks she was actually Hermione Granger or something.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. 100%.
God.
Now, I'm very interested to see, based off of Preston's reaction to my pick here, I'm very interested to see what his first pick is going to be.
Yeah, let's see, Preston.
Well, again, I think you could go any direction here. All of these are very good. I'm going to take one that I find both interesting, entertaining, and practical.
Okay.
I realized I said both, and then I listed three things. Don't at me. I'm going to take from Michigan State University, Surviving the Coming Zombie Apocalypse, Catastrophes in Human Behavior. Now, here's the thing, colleges. I can tell what you're doing here. Your subject line is a way to get me to open the email. And in this metaphor, that's to get me to walk into the class here. There are a bunch of these where it's like, the study of Harry Potter, but then it's actually just like an English course. Mike, I don't think that was yours. That seems a little actually in the weeds of Harry Potter. This one is clearly a study of like culture and behavior and disaster response and that kind of stuff, but with a sprinkle in of surviving the coming zombie apocalypse. I'm very interested in that. I think it's going to be really cool. It's not like a doomsday prepper type stuff is not something I've studied a lot before, but I'm excited to get into it.
That was my 1B.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
Yep,
this one
that
seems
was-
super fun. It also, like, the description of the class is really fun. I don't have it pulled up right away, but it was something like you'll be split into teams, and you will be tasked, like, with actually surviving the zombie apocalypse. And then my guess at the end of the class is, like, you're looking back on, what the human reactions were to
I'll
being
read it
in
to you right
crisis.
now. This 7-week summer course at Michigan State University features a simulation where you're divided into groups and tasked with figuring out how to survive the recent zombie pandemic. If that doesn't have you totally spooked, maybe the Black Death or meteor strikes will. That sounds really fun. I've also played a lot of games of Pandemic, so I feel like I'm going to have this on lock.
You'll be well equipped.
Yeah, it sounds like I would love to take that class. That sounds super fun.
It does sound like a fun time. Yep, I think it's a good pick, Preston.
Thank you.
I am going to go a very different way, though, with my pick. So this will be interesting to get your reactions. This was my number one choice. Ooh. Neither of those things were my number one. I had them both on my list. I had Zombie Apocalypse quite a bit higher than Harry Potter. I'm going to take the beekeeping apprenticeship offered at the University of Florida.
I thought about this.
I was scrolling through the list and I stopped at that one and I was like super intrigued by it. I was like, oh, this actually sounds pretty fun.
Okay, I want to
Yeah.
hear your pitch, and then I have follow-up questions.
Yes.
It just seems cool, you know? Like it just seems cool. It seems like relatively low stakes as a class. And even if it doesn't become a career, I think you at least get like a pretty sweet hobby out of it, you know?
Yeah.
So
A hobby that
was
gives
kinda my
back.
thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems very fun, but also has some like real world application that I think probably your two classes don't offer really.
Well, so here's what I'll say. First of all, just to get this out of the way, if you came up to me tomorrow, Dan, and said, I took a new job with a farm and I'm going to be a beekeeper and jar and sell my own honey, that would not really surprise me all that much. The vibe seems right. It seems like it's a good fit.
I don't know how to take that.
My central issue is I had this on my list and I was like, oh, this is cool. And it was high. But then I went back through my list, adding all of the colleges so that I could read them out when I made the pick. And you're wearing that beekeeping suit at the University of Florida, which is very hot.
I
take
did
it- I'll
not
take it in the fall.
realize that.
It's going to be a
Take it in fall
scorcher.
semester.
There's not going to be a fall in Florida for much longer. That's not going to be something that they're experiencing.
No.
Their fall's going to be January.
I
It's-
gotta
there's
imagine
no winter. It's
no
fall,
winter.
fall for 1 month,
Fall
and
and
that's
summer.
it.
I gotta imagine that you don't get in a bee suit right away. I gotta imagine
You
that's
gotta
like
work
a back
up to
half
that?
of the semester kind of thing. Yeah, so I'm not here to say that Gainesville, Florida has the most pleasant of autumns around, but it'll certainly be bearable October through early December.
Do you have any anxiety about getting stung by bees?
No,
Okay.
no, that's
You-
what the suit's for.
You wake up in the morning, you find a bee in the house. What do you do?
I probably try a way to let it out safely.
Wow.
Nope.
What a guy. Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah, Mike and I, we don't got time
Really?
for that. We're men of industry. We got places to be.
We gotta
Exactly.
protect our bees, yo. We gotta protect our bees. I just like bees especially, but I mean most insects, unless they're just really just irredeemable insects.
Wasps.
I'm gonna a wasp I would kill, but any spider I'm trying to relocate.
Damn.
Any spider in the
Nope.
house.
Not in my house. If it's in my house, it's gonna get squashed
Yeah.
if it comes near me.
Spiders are good. They kill the things that are actually bad, like
Yeah,
mosquitoes
like
and
me.
stuff.
I love them outside. Yeah, it's like you, Preston. Is that what you
Yeah.
said?
They kill the things that are actually in this house.
Oh, it's hilarious talking about bees and wasps. If you, we've got in our neighborhood really bad red wasps. Probably especially in the spring, they're all over the place. If you catch me walking outside to get the mail and suddenly I dart in one direction, it's because I'm getting chased by what feels like a monster of a wasp, but it's just this little guy in my mailbox. I feel like I have killed so many wasps in my mailbox with our exterminator that he cannot figure out how they keep coming back. I hate them.
Okay, my second pick here.
By the way, just I do think that it was a solid, interesting class
Thank
to
you,
take.
Mike.
I do
I
like
appreciate
It fits very much with, as I said, your vibe.
Yeah.
You give off
Yeah,
beekeeper
I'm
energy.
I'm surprised to hear that, but I will take it, I guess. Okay, my second pick now. Preston brought up the heat of potentially being a beekeeper in Florida, so I'm going to take something that'll help me cool off.
Nice.
I'm going to take surfing as
Dadgummit.
my second pick, which again just seems like a fun time.
I've always wanted to learn how to surf. I'm a bigger fella, so I don't know how well I could surf. You don't see
get a
very many
longboard.
large men surfing.
Didn't you ever watch Rocket Power?
Yeah, that's true. Uncle Tito.
Yeah, that's
The,
right.
the
Yep.
best surfer is
Uncle
Tito. Yeah,
Tito.
and
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go. But that is a great, especially paired with sweating in that beekeeper suit. You end the day with surfing. Let's go. Great combo.
Thank you.
So, do you think you'd be good at it?
No,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think I'm in
I
the
don't have
same
great
boat.
balance. Here's a little Dan lore. When I was in middle school, I suffered a concussion and also permanently damaged the inner. I don't know which ear it is, but the inner ear of one of my ears.
No.
And the inner ear doesn't have anything to do with hearing, but it is like what gives you your balance, as a bipedal creature.
Yeah.
And so I did physical therapy to like atone for that. So I don't like get sick anytime I'm existing like I did initially, but I don't have as good a balance as I used to.
Does that
so
come
that would
back
probably
in
hold
any?
me back in surfing a little bit.
Does that come back in any practical way ever? If like you stand up too fast,
Just
and
like
get dizzy or something.
In athletic endeavors.
Gotcha.
I did have a bout of vertigo in high school, but I don't know if that was related or not.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, that was probably related, 100%.
Probably. Yeah.
So.
That isn't something either that you can do, like, you hurt a muscle or like tear something and you can build it back with like PT. Like you can't really PT your inner ear.
So you can, like, the way it works is like you don't bring the inner ear back, but you train the other one to
compensate.
Compensate, yeah. And be aware that the other one is no longer doing its thing.
You're basically like Daredevil now. You have like cool superpowers.
Not at all. Okay. Not in any way.
Well, all right.
It's actually the opposite of that. Oh. I'm impaired, but without the bonuses.
He's the real life Daredevil.
There you go. Put that out of context. Put that out of context on a shirt. I'm impaired, but without the bonuses.
Oh my gosh. Oh, but to your question though, Preston, that's why we would take the surfing class.
Because
we don't think we're very great at it, but you would take it to learn. Yeah,
and I think even if I'm bad at it, I mean, maybe I'll fail the class, I guess. But even if I'm bad at it, it's still a day out on the water.
Okay, so let me tell the story because like every college, I think at this point offers like recreational classes. Mm-hmm. So, and I think you have to. I don't know if you still do, but you have to take a certain number.
two credits or something you got to do. Yeah.
So in college, I took golf and tennis, and golf was totally fine, and picked up a good few tips. Blah blah blah. Tennis was great. It was like early morning, but I would get up and just play rounds, and I had a couple friends with it, and like would just play games with my friends, and it was great. One day we show up, and he's like, "All right, quiz time," and I'm like, "Okay, tennis quiz." He's like, "To the service line." 10 serves. For every one you get in, you get 10 points out of 100. And I was like, oh, shit. Pressure is absolutely on for what this easy A was supposed to be. So this girl is first. And she goes up. And she hits a little dinker. Just like, boop, right over the net. And he goes, nope. And then she's like, oh, no. There were people getting 20s, 30s. 40s.
What, so he made you hit him hard?
Yes,
basically?
Yeah. She tried to hit a little booper just right over the net just to get it in. And he was like, "No, absolutely not." I got an 80, which I felt like was unbelievably clutch.
Wow, well done.
It was very nerve wracking, but to his credit, he would let you like retake it later in the semester or something like that. But still, I mean, like, talk about the easy A just getting ripped out from under you.
So that's the equivalent. I took bowling in college, and so that's the equivalent of like you've got to like bowl a 300 to freaking pass the class. Like,
I don't think it's that equivalent.
That is like hardcore.
The equivalent of that would be like, all right, class, with our special guest today, we've got Roger Federer. Anybody who can get 1 point on him gets a 70 in a passing grade.
No, but like the fact that they. Oh man, I would be so nervous. Even if I like every single day I went to that class and I would hit the ball perfect, I would be so nervous that would be my final grade.
Yeah.
Good lord.
Yeah, it was freaky.
Yeah. Preston, what's your second pick here?
I think I'm gonna take the natural pairing to my surviving the coming zombie apocalypse, and take something that I know is just cool. Oh, it's just going to be great. And I'm going to take from the George Washington University Japanese swordsmanship. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it comes with all of the like really cool cultural elements too that like I know very little about, but would be really cool to learn. But I hope they let me pick up a sword and try and like whack some watermelons or something. Because I feel like it'd be a fun time.
What is the description of that one? Because like that's what I was curious about. At the end of it, are you able to swing a sword around and do some damage on something? Because this was high on my list as well because I thought it was super interesting.
Here you go. Taking a stab at this class will teach you the training regimens of Kendo, which literally means way of the sword, and it's known as the traditional art of Japanese fencing developed by the samurai. So it's an actual sword fighting class.
Yeah. Very good pick.
Incredible.
Yeah, this one was very, very high on my list.
Nice. And it goes with when the zombies come. I'm
Exactly.
developing
You're
some
Michonne.
practical skills.
You're Michonne from Walking Dead. You have a friggin' katana and you're cutting zombies in half.
I'm going to just keep picking classes in this draft that speak to my overall cynicism about the fate of the world to just prepare for the oncoming doom.
What if, a la your tennis class, the exam of this one is like full fight to the death with your classmates?
It's like a Joker style. We only take one.
Only the people who win their battles with their classmates pass, the other half fail.
People that do not get killed pass the class.
Yeah, and then I finally best my opponent to pass the class, and then his mask comes off, and it's Dan. Oh no, plot twist! What did they make me do? I thought because I drafted it that he couldn't draft it too.
Was it worth the A, Preston?
No, it was not. Listen, I got plenty of C's. I can deal with another one.
No, I think this is a great pick. This was right there at the top of my list of the ones I picked.
Excellent.
3 and 4 overall. So
Excellent.
Yeah. All right, Mike, you got the snake around back-to-back picks.
Yeah. I think I don't want to take this. I would take one class first here, but I don't want to take them back to back to make it look like I'm a super nerd here.
Okay, I just wanted to say, Mike, no offense here, but that ship has sailed.
That ship has sailed. Okay, all right. So I should just go all in on that. Push like all my chips in.
Yep.
On the.
I mean,
the
you
super
you
nerd.
can if you want, but
Okay.
I don't
I'm
think
gonna
you're
do
fooling
it.
anyone if you're trying to act like you're not a huge.
I'm taking the
agree.
Game of Thrones class.
Nice.
Look, one of my favorite classes in college was history, especially like Greek mythology, all of the historical gods and things like that. What is better than the historical gods than a fake history class about Game of Thrones? You get to study all of the events that happened through the marvelous world of the books, and then pretend like the end of the show didn't happen. But
You just touched on why I think this is not the best pick in the world.
Wait, I saw your hand up. What's up?
Go ahead.
It sounds like a lot of reading.
Oh, it's okay. I've already read all of the books.
It would be
so-
okay. It would be the most reading I've ever done for any class for sure.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Yeah.
I will say, I feel like this would be for somebody that has already read the books, because if you look at the book series, they're between, I think the smallest book is about 900 pages.
Yeah.
It's between 900 and like 1300 pages through the book series. So it's definitely a commitment if you have not read the books yet. But if you have read the books, it would be something that I'd be very interested in deep diving into. And hopefully one day George R.R. Martin will actually finish the book series, because that would be amazing.
Never happened.
So I actually think this class gets a lot more interesting after how absolutely awful the last season of Game of Thrones was. Like, I think it becomes an interesting study on if you really dig in as to why it was so bad. Like, I think we all sort of agree that it was terrible. I know Dan hasn't watched it all the way through, but we all sort of agree it was terrible. But I think it would be a lot of fun. Okay, I think it'd be a lot of fun to get into the specifics of why it was so bad.
Yeah, what happened? Why did it? I mean, I kind of
Both
know the behind the
logistically,
scenes.
yeah, same, right? Like, they're trying to go do Star Wars, and then the irony is it ended up being so bad that they pulled their Star Wars project from them. But still,
exactly, like, oops.
Yeah. But like the logistics of that, like how everything was sort of rushed, and then also the actual writing aspects of it, like how
it could turn into a study on like how to fail at one of the biggest shows in television.
How to retroactively make the rest of your product worse, even though it's already out there. Like, I'm always telling people, because I'm a huge Lord of the Rings guy and I have posters in my thing. They're like, well, what do you think of the Hobbit movies? And I was like, listen, I don't like the Hobbit movies, but they don't take away from the original thing. The original thing will always be to what it was. It's sort of like the new Star Wars, right? Like, they're hit and miss, but they don't take away from the trilogy. Now, this is different. Season 8 retroactively makes the entire show worse, which is really impressive, actually, that they managed to do that. They should have their
I know.
Emmys
Yeah,
taken away from them, like Reggie Bush or something.
It's still one of my favorite TV shows that I've seen. It ended terribly. I'm worried though with George R. R. Martin, while we're on the subject, that the way that the show ended is how he wrote the ending, and the reason why it's taking so long is because he's like, oh shit, I gotta rewrite this. Everybody hates how all of this ended.
I thought about that too. It actually, the ending, I think, like some of the way the characters wrap up is not actually the biggest problem. It's that it's so remarkably out of nowhere. So I think given time, he could have the characters end that way. He's also said in interviews, like, if you write the whole book as if the butler did it, and then somebody on Reddit guesses that the butler did it, and then you decide to change it because they guessed it, the whole book is ruined. So he has said that. So presumably he's not going to change whatever the original thing was, but I would imagine he's not in a huge sense of urgency right now. It also wouldn't surprise me that if the books come out, they decide to remake seasons 6, 7, and 8 or something like that.
I would love that. I would be down. I would be down. We'll see. But I am thrilled to deep dive into this and take this as a college course.
It's true. We basically
as
just
did
class right now, like for the last
exactly. Yeah, this is
we
what
we just did opening
syllabus day,
opening lecture.
Yeah. And so I will loop around for my third pick, and I've got to get out of the classroom. I've got to do something like that. That's
You got to touch grass.
Yes, I'm doing super nerdy stuff. I'm doing Harry Potter and Game of Thrones. Like, I'm staying true to the best nerd title that I have here in the chat here. So I am going to take my second option to surfing. Surfing was the top thing I wanted to do as like an activity. I would like to get in the water as well, and I would like to take basic scuba.
Damn it. I was going to snatch that basic immediately scuba next if you didn't.
Yeah. I mean, I would much prefer surfing. I skateboarded a lot when I was a teenager and stuff, so I feel like I could naturally be okay at surfing. Scuba diving, I really would love to do. I love being in the water. I'm a little bit nervous about, like, this sounds like a basic scuba course, so I'm down. You're in a pool for most of it, from what the description is.
I was going to mention that, yeah.
If you get deep water, though, I don't know if I would be able to pass the class. That is a little intimidating. I would be a little bit afraid of that. But this seems like a basic class. Seems like you'll take a weekend diving trip in the ocean where you probably won't be very deep. I'm all in on that. But I'm not going to go deep sea diving where I'm like 3,000 feet under the water or something.
Yeah, this being mostly in a pool does take away some of the shine of it.
True.
Like, what are you seeing down there?
Knowing that you're building up to, though, a trip to the ocean, I would assume they're going to take us to like a coral reef or something. Would be super fun to see. I'm all in. Do you have to swim around in a pool for a class?
Have you seen in Dubai, they have the largest indoor like snorkeling facility, and it's basically a pool, and the pool is not very wide, but it's like a flooded hotel. It's incredibly deep. But it's just, I've seen some clips of that, and it's just terrifying to me that I would get stuck. People are swimming in like windows of it, and there's like little treasures. It's very like, I would imagine it's like the mini golf of scuba diving. It's very like campy, but it does seem super terrifying that you would get stuck somewhere. So I would probably have a problem with anything more than the pool.
Random question for you guys. Would you rather go super deep in the water, scuba diving, whatever, or take a trip to space?
Definitely scuba diving.
Definitely space.
Yeah. Split the table.
I can see
That's
home.
What I was hoping for.
I can see home. I know which direction is back.
But listen. People aren't meant to be in space. Okay? We don't belong there.
Says you. And you want to go deep in the ocean?
Are we meant to be deep sea diving?
Are we supposed to be down there?
I can go scuba diving, off like the coast and see cool fish and stuff, and not.
Yeah, but we'd have to be the equivalent of going to space. Like, this has to be like deep. Like, you're exploring.
Then I'm not doing either one.
Oh, come on, Dan. Play in the space.
No,
Engage in
would
the
still be-
exercise.
it would still be scuba. It would still be scuba. I feel
Yeah.
like you're much more likely to die a horrible
All right.
death trying to go to space.
Well, I've got
scuba dive.
I've got good news for you, Dan. There's this company that I don't know if you've heard of, but they make these little submarines that you control with an old PS2 controller.
Oh no.
Get on down there and see it for yourself.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah,
and
it
like it
does.
could never have any issues whatsoever.
No problems. I would do space just because I don't know. There's something less frightening about it to me. The ocean seems less predictable than space.
That is just not
Listen. That's why I said seems. I get it's not an objective reality. It just seems like it to me that it
There's
is.
actually been people that have like done a ton of scuba diving versus like a very select few that have done space.
Yeah, how many people have been lost in the vastness of space, though?
But that speaks to the
More
amount of
than you
people
know.
that have done scuba versus space. You start doing tourism in space.
Well, okay. Am I
bound-
outside
we're
the
bound to lose
vessel?
some.
Am I outside the vessel in space? No, right?
presumably, yeah.
What?
But that's
You,
the
you got. If it's the equivalent of scuba, then you
I'm
got to
doing
be in a
space
space
scuba.
suit in space.
I'm doing
Now you can be
floating
tethered
in
to a ship,
space.
but you're out there in space, my dude.
Preston's just floating in space above Earth.
Yeah, with no
Oh, you're
ship.
tethered. You're tethered.
No anything. Yeah, I mean, I think I would do space, although the space walk part of it would definitely freak me out. But scuba
Yeah.
is like, that's the entire thing. Like, you don't get a ship that, like, takes you down. So you're telling,
You
so
get a
like,
ship that
I'm
takes you
saying
out
for
to the part of the
space,
ocean that you're
that we have a
scuba-
ship,
scubaing in.
space, we have a ship take you to space, and you're
Yeah.
there in the ship, and it's wonderful. And then you're like, okay, I gotta go outside for a bit. Woo, and then you're back in. And scuba's like, I gotta make that entire trip myself.
No.
Yeah. There's more
Preston,
room
you
for
think-
error.
you
I see
think-
what
Also,
you're saying.
nobody's gonna be like, "Where's Preston?" Oh no, we know where we put Preston. We put him outside in space. Somebody can be like, "Where's Dan?" I don't know. He's behind the hammerhead.
I feel
Are
like
you
though,
are you
the-
saying you think the people that go deep sea scuba diving get there because they waded in starting off the coast of Florida or wherever,
shore.
and then
No.
swim the whole way? 'Cause I got news for you. That isn't how it works.
No, of course not. But they do
I'm gonna
swim.
start my week-long journey.
do swim from the surface all the way down, and it's a long way down.
Oh boy. Oh brother.
Interesting.
You know, Mike, I think this is a great pick. I think Basic
Thanks.
Scuba was a tremendous pick.
I feel like
Preston.
it's a consolation to surfing, but I'll take it.
Yeah. Preston, you can't take space exploration. It wasn't on the list.
Okay,
What is your third pick instead?
this is really tough. This is very tough. Game of Thrones is gone. Surfing is gone. I mean, I'm not gonna take that. That's too on brand with what I've already. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. All right, I'm gonna take this, and then I'm gonna listen to feedback, and then I'm gonna give my pitch. I'm gonna take from Skidmore College, the sociology of Miley Cyrus, race, class, gender, and media.
That is a very interesting class. I think so there were several like celebrity study classes that I've scrolled
all
through.
like musical artists.
Yes. Of those classes, I feel like the Miley Cyrus one would be the one I'd be probably the most interested in.
Interesting.
Just her evolution from being a Disney star to where she is today, being a family member of a big country artist as a kid moving to where she is today. I feel like that would all the journey that she went on and the evolution that she's had would be interesting to study, I think.
Dan?
So that's interesting because to me, she was like the last of the
Oh,
Really?
interesting. Okay.
artists I would want to take a class about. Yeah.
I find her very interesting for... So, like, okay, we mentioned already one of the other ones is Taylor Swift. And Taylor Swift's...
There are several.
There are
classes.
actually multiple Taylor Swift classes, yes. Taylor Swift's shift was gradual. And I think the most interesting thing about her career is the, like, economics of her career. Like, how she's always managed to be on the top pretty much all the time. writing all different kinds of music. That to me is the most interesting part, not the actual music itself. Miley Cyrus's switch was drastic. Like there is a psychology element to this course.
Psychology,
like,
it's a more personal.
Yeah, what the hell happened
switch.
here?
Yeah.
But now, when you're looking in, the year of our Lord 2023, she's back into this really incredible like 80s synth wave vibe, which is amazing. Like her most recent album is so very cool and harkens back to, like I said, like great pop of the 80s. I find that journey more interesting to me. And also, as Mike said, like I am weirdly fascinated with like what it would be like to be like a child star, like where your whole family is famous and you don't have a choice but to be famous, and how that like messes with your psyche.
Well, and it was that plus the fact that she was a Disney kid star.
Right.
Like it was like not only was she like a child star through her father, she then also doubled down and was a child star because of Disney.
Well, and she has at all different times been like loved and hated by different communities. Like the country community like loved her and then hated her, and then the pop community loved her really quickly and then hated her, and then like she turned out to like she got completely ostracized by like tabloid magazines, but then was welcomed back in as like a very thoughtful artist and stuff. It's a much more interesting arc to me than Taylor Swift, which seems like a straight arc to always being the best at everything. Seems almost
she's
boring.
Just a popular girl.
Yeah,
Taylor's just a popular girl.
kinda.
Yeah, I do agree with that. And I will say the note it like says this class is from 2014. I do think the class would be a lot more interesting.
I'm sort of making the assumption that it's been updated since then.
Yeah. No, I think that's right.
Just in 2014, you're just talking about Wrecking Ball, and that's basically it. And listen, while I would love that for a few weeks, there's been some more interesting stuff since then. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm kind of the opposite of you guys, where Mike felt like he needed to get out and touch grass after his first two picks. I feel like I need to get inside.
Ooh.
All right, I've
Get some
got
shade.
beekeeping and I've got surfing. And what better way to do that than by taking the class wasting time on the internet?
I have a
man.
problem with this one, actually.
That's
Okay.
it's interesting. I want to hear the pitch for this one.
Well, I don't hear Preston's problem with it.
Well, okay. Let me read you the description
Yeah.
for our people at home. For the class, students were required to, quote, stare at the screen for 3 hours, only interacting through chat rooms, bots, social media, and listservs, according to the course description. I do that for most of the day.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like an incredibly interesting thing for me to take. It doesn't feel like it's very challenging.
No, it's very easy.
Okay, yeah. So
It also says distraction, multitasking, and aimless drifting is mandatory. The thing is, this is what I do on a daily basis anyway.
very easy
So
grade
I'm
here.
just literally going to surf the web for a few hours and get an A.
Okay.
Preston is actually looking for actual
Enrichment?
growth
Yeah.
in his
That's my
classes.
fault.
I think that's
I shouldn't do
think it's
that.
the difference between Dan and my philosophy and Preston's. Like what am I good at? What do I know? What can I get an easy A in? Let's knock those out. Wasting time on the internet though, that's definitely it sounds like you can't actually interact with folks in the class. Like you are like chatting with the teacher and the classmates through chat rooms or whatever. Yeah, it's a very interesting take on a class for college.
We don't have the full course description here, but it does say this is at UPenn, and it wasn't just an elective, as the vast majority of these are. It actually filled some requirements for English majors. So that there clearly is some sort of like actual educational value in here, at least as determined by the University of Pennsylvania, which is an Ivy League college, by the way.
I did actually manage to find the description on UPenn's website, and it does make it sound more interesting than I originally let on. There are some questions being asked here, like, could we reconstruct our autobiography using only our Facebook page? Could we write a great novella by plundering our Twitter feed? Could we reframe the internet as the greatest poem ever written? I mean, no is the answer to all of those, but it's interesting.
Hold on. Tio. That description does not match the title of the class.
No, it doesn't.
Because what you just read is very intriguing.
This class will focus on the chemical recuperation of aimless surfing into substantial works of literature. Students will be required to stare at the screen for 3 hours, only interacting through chat rooms, bots, social media listservs. To bolster our practice, we'll explore the long history of the recuperation of boredom and time wasting through critical texts about affect theory, ASMR, situationism, and everyday life by thinkers, such as, and then it lists a bunch of philosophers I've never heard of. I mean,
This sounds fascinating.
It's a little interesting. I still think it's bullshit, but it's a little interesting.
No, I feel like they've picked the wrong name for this course. I do not feel like this is wasting time.
The name grabs you, right? Obviously, it's like an attention getter. Mm-hmm. I think it seems like a class that like really analyzes the internet, how we interact with it, and how it has changed the way we communicate with each other, which I find to be absolutely fascinating.
I did take a class in college where we had to do a group project that was very simple. It was like build a structure. It was, one of those like egg drop things, whatever. And then the teacher instructed us to go home and make characters in Guild Wars 2 and accomplish a cooperative objective in Guild Wars 2, which was a free game, but like using the same group. And then the project became writing essays, thesis, and giving presentations about how we thought the dynamics between group members changed when you entered into a like avatar,
like a virtual
world,
setting,
as opposed to the real world.
Oh,
and
I would love
what was really
class.
Interesting is all of the people who were in control in the real setting were really the followers in the virtual setting because they didn't really have any experience in video games. And we thought about like what that meant. It was really cool. I actually really enjoyed that a lot, and I got to play Guild Wars 2 for like 2 weeks.
Exactly. That'd be great. I would love that class. That sounds super interesting because I am intrigued by my day job. I'm in communication, so that is something that I would be super fascinated by. Love it.
All right, Dan.
Yeah, very cool. All right, that was the final pick of the first half of the draft for the team so far. Mike has Harry Potter, literary tradition and popular culture, Game of Thrones, and basic scuba. Scuba is just a fun word to say,
Scuba. It is. I love scuba. Let's go scuba.
What's the plural of scuba?
Scuba.
Scuba. Can I saying scuba be the cold open for this episode?
Scuba.
Scuba. Just go out of context just to sing scuba. Scuba. Preston has survived in the zombie apocalypse, catastrophes in human behavior, Japanese swordsmanship, and sociology of Miley Cyrus. I have beekeeping apprenticeship, surfing, and wasting time on the internet. Second half of the draft coming up after we take a quick breather. Just a quick announcement in case you haven't already heard. We moved our merch store to a newer website called Fourth Wall. Thanks to everyone who supported the launch of the new site last week. We can't wait to see you all in your new drafted gear. We've got some great new designs as well as some old favorites from the old shop for you guys who didn't quite get a chance to get this stuff there. If you're a Patreon supporter, you receive a discount code for the new merch as well as a chance to win some free stuff. It's a great time to become a supporter for the month if you aren't already. The link for the new store as well as the link to become a Patreon supporter will be in the show notes. Okay, we are back. And what do I want to take with my first pick of the fourth round here? I think I'm going to go for my music class selection here. I think Preston's done that. I'm going to go with the K-pop Scribner seminar at Skidmore College. And apparently, I didn't know this really, but apparently in doing my very limited research for this draft, I guess the Scribner seminar is like kind of a famous thing at Skidmore. They're like always kind of wacky topics, and they're meant to be kind of like fun introduction to just kind of being in college for freshmen, basically. So it's like always like a fun kind of, interesting one. And this one is about K-pop, and the description sounds pretty fun. Taught by the anthropology professor Ju-Won Park, the class uses the K-pop phenomenon to help students explore interdisciplinary ideas, challenge their assumptions about the world, and help them to acclimate to their academic life at Skidmore. I think K-pop is like genuinely very interesting. I have a very surface level awareness / knowledge of K-pop. Like there are some K-pop bangers that I'm aware of. But it just seems like a very fascinating cultural phenomenon. Like the way they've kind of like Korea, such a what we would think of as such a culturally different place than the United States, has taken all these parts of like American hip hop and pop music and kind of rebranded it to be their own, and really just become an international phenomenon that in a lot of ways has put Korea kind of on the map as like a global culture force. So I think I'm excited to take this class.
It's very cool. I wonder how it's going to relate to your wasting time on the internet course.
They'll probably go hand in hand.
I was going to say, feels very complimentary.
Yeah, I like it. I don't have too much feedback on this class. I think it's a solid pick. I think it's an interesting pick. I don't know much about K-pop, so if I took it, I would definitely learn more.
I'll share what I learned with you, Mike.
There you go.
Nice. Yeah, I like this. Dan is broadening his horizons, right?
Thank you.
What we've all agreed is
I do love broadening my horizons. I know that I took wasting time on the internet. But let's not forget, my first two picks were beekeeping and surfing, two things that I know nothing about. So I needed a comfort zone. Listen, we're taking 6 classes here. No matter how fun you make the class, that is a heavy workload for a semester.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I never took more than 5 classes in a semester. So I think it's fine, and in fact, wise to maybe take some ones that feel like easy A's.
Layups. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm gonna go ahead and take the one that right off the bat interested me the most in terms of like how it could apply to my job and like my actual day to day. And that is from American University, The Hunger Games, Class, Politics, and Marketing.
Oh, not where I thought you were going at
Really?
all with this. Yeah, no, I thought I knew your pick. Okay.
Well, now I'm curious to know where you thought I was going, but we'll have to save that, I guess.
That is towards the top of my list as well, The Hunger Games. But I do see it does have the political side of it, so I could kind of see that for you, Preston.
I mean, I'm interested, like, that was always the best part of the movies, and I did read the first book, to me, was the world-building aspects of it, and I was actually sort of disappointed in some of the later movies that it didn't, like I liked the exposition and figuring out why they ended up in this position and all of that stuff. So I think it's interesting. It's an interesting subject.
All right, here we go. From the description here, this cultural history class at American University in Washington, D.C. breaks down the politics of the Hunger Games trilogy, tackling topics like whether Katniss is a feminist. I think we should derail the show right now, and the 3 cis men on the show should tackle this subject right now.
Settle this once and for all.
Yeah, this will be the definitive take on this question right here on this very podcast. What do we think? I don't even want to discuss it. I just want to get to know from everyone.
I have read the books, and I've read the first book, and I have seen all the movies, and it does not seem to me like feminism is a particular theme that is tackled in that, unless I missed it, which is possible. So I'm gonna say neutral.
I actually didn't think anyone would answer here. I'm surprised.
I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm putting myself on the record.
But he took the bait, but then he stayed neutral.
He
was like neutral.
It's weird. It's not yes or no. But
I would say. I mean, listen. This is just the 17 like blurb version of the description. So it could be that they're misinterpreting what the question. I would say like I've also read the books. I've not seen all the movies. I've seen the first 2 movies. Saw the second movie. Was surprised by how much I enjoyed the second movie and its, political message.
Right.
Which to me wasn't as present in the first film. Made me want to read the books. Read all 3 books over like a Thanksgiving break weekend. Hated the third one so much that I refused to watch the movie recreations of it.
Ooh.
Dang. Yeah. But I mean, it's been a long time since I've read them. I don't remember Katniss feeling like a character that was motivated by feminist.
She's motivated by equality, but gender equality is not really a theme, at least in the movies.
Yeah,
agreed.
But I think like from an outside, you could say she's like a feminist icon in a lot of ways. I would say.
I guess so.
Yeah,
she kills countless men.
The question is, would she herself describe her as a feminist? That I don't know. Interesting.
Now,
interesting.
I did read all of the books before the first movie came out. So I did not, like, I didn't feel like I was reading a feminist book.
I'd have to reread with that question
Right.
in the 4, to see if
I will say I
what
was
yours.
highly disappointed in the first movie, loved the second one, and can't really remember too much of my feelings of how the movie series ended. But I agree, the second book was my favorite.
Is this the part of the show where we really tear down the Barbie movie for being a piece of
haven't seen it.
anti-male propaganda?
I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard
haven't
it's
seen it
great.
yet?
And there's
It was one
there's
of
a
my
whole
favorite
Barbie
movies.
test that if you're a man and you don't like the Barbie movie, then
Yeah, it was
You're
one of my
that
favorite
guy.
I mean,
movies of the summer.
not just because you mentioned that test, but I will say it is one of my favorite movies I've seen in the last few years. Just on like the
It was great.
funny aspect of it too. It's just a really
yep.
good comedy. There are several very good lines and jokes, and it's so good. I love that movie.
I've heard honestly nothing but incredibly great things about it.
Well, yeah, because all the people we hate also hate it, which makes me love it even more.
Oh yeah,
Like,
that's
oh my
right.
God, Ben
For me,
Shapiro gave it a 2 out of 10. Thank God.
That's actually a really good test for your Facebook timeline or
Yeah.
whatever timeline. Do you have people that hate the Barbie movie and you love
yeah,
it?
Joe
Probably
Rogan says it
not a
has
good
problematic elements. I'm gonna go see it again.
Oh god. I'm just a weird movie viewer. Like it just takes a lot for me to want to go see a movie, like a new movie. I'm much more of a rewatch the same movie.
What was the last movie that you saw in theaters?
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I don't think that's
fit.
true
Those,
because we went to go see
Oh,
John Wick
we saw
4.
John Wick 4.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh.
We saw John Wick 4.
I answered my own question. I didn't remember that.
Yep. Yeah, John Wick 4. And it was very good.
Yeah,
I'm glad I
it
saw
was
it in
awesome.
theaters. It was
So
a fun
cool.
movie. Yeah. All right, Mike. What is your fourth pick?
I will say I was targeting the Hunger Games just to have the trifecta of Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, and Hunger Games on my list would have been fabulous.
I took all the media. I am the king
yes.
of the IP.
Exactly. Well, the Hunger Games one again. That one interested me not just because it was Hunger Games, but the market. There's the marketing aspect in the class and the politics in the class, etc. I was like, oh, this could be something very cool to study. I do like how you did pair Hunger Games with the zombie apocalypse.
Yep.
You got a very dystopian
Yep.
course schedule.
I basically am taking college classes to prepare for the end of the world. Zombie apocalypse,
yeah.
Japanese swordsmanship, Hunger Games, and Miley Cyrus.
I love it.
Yeah, and I don't think we need to get into why sociology of Miley Cyrus would equip.
No, everybody knows. We get it. We get it. We know.
I love it. I'm going to go ahead and take the pick that I thought you were going with, which would apply to my everyday life, and it would in a business setting. You tend to have to tackle people that are not. They don't have the same viewpoint. They may be just completely. Well, we were just talking about it with the Barbie movie.
Yeah,
How
Mike
to,
works for Joe Rogan. It's crazy. It's such a challenging day for him all the time.
I would like to take the course that would. This is probably out of the courses I've taken so far, the one that I would actually want to develop. Dealing tactfully with difficult people.
Yeah.
And being able to apply that to everyday life, not only in the business aspect, but personal levels too. Like there are just some people that, I feel like I would like to deal with them a little bit better than I do today.
I feel like, Mike, you and I work for the governments of the South. I think we could teach this course jointly. we could I could make a full syllabus.
By Mike and Preston,
Yep.
guest speakers.
Buckle in, everybody.
There's those moments in my day that I just have to go
Deep breath.
before I
Yeah.
write the email back or call that
think-
person back.
What if at the end of the day that's just the best tactic?
Well, this is the problem because there's another one on here that is also about dealing with difficult situations like this, and to me, this feels
Yeah.
a little too close to a workplace seminar, which are the things that make me the most mad. I remember one time, Lauren, friend of the show, and coincidentally my wife, had to go to a
Yeah, I got all friend of the
friend of the show. Friend of the
first
pod.
descriptor, friend of the show, Lauren Thompson.
I
Wife
how
of the
that's
pod.
the first qualifier.
wife of the
there.
pod, Lauren Thompson, went to she went to a seminar that was like required by her work as a teacher, and it was like how to maintain work-life balance. And I remember she came home and she was like, the better work-life balance would have been giving me this day off. Like it was such a waste of time. Yeah.
Yeah, my God.
Yep.
This feels like it's starting to venture into that territory, which I really find annoying.
True. I could see it.
It's possible.
Yeah, what if the professor of this class is a real asshole?
Yeah.
Right. What if he's
that's actually
people?
That's actually the experience, Dan.
The man of the course.
That's the test. Just can you deal with him?
If you can pass this course, then you've done the
Pass.
class.
You clept out of it if you can pass this class.
Oh my gosh.
This has not been a factor for any of our decisions, and I think the presumption is that we're all taking these classes at just like the same generic university. Mm-hmm. But what if this class is taught at UCLA, and it would have been fun if maybe we factored in like university location. You get to go to UCLA seems like probably a pretty fun college to attend.
Yeah, that would definitely be a perk if like we took these classes and traveled to the colleges they were at. Yeah, this would be higher on my list for sure.
All right, Mike. What is your next pick here? First pick of the fifth round.
I'm doing a complete 180 on I did a course that seems logical and that could apply to my day-to-day life. When I think of college, I think of pizza. And there is a Pizza Hut apprenticeship on this list that I'm like, wait, I can take a class where I eat pizza at college. I mean, sure, you learn about the business end, whatever, but you get to eat pizza on a regular basis. I'm down. Pizza Hut apprenticeship. I'm all in on this. Let's go.
Okay, Mike. I hate to break this to you. This is really just a way for Pizza Hut to have slave labor.
True. You fall into their trap,
probably
Mike.
Correct.
At least when I was in school, if you were getting class credit for a job, which you could do, like an internship, you couldn't get paid for that same job. Like you couldn't both get paid and get class credit, which I thought was
correct,
awful and terrible. This seems to me like they're just short on staff and they're trying to have you come in and make pizzas all day.
Probably true, but what ends up being not getting paid for this, you're not getting physical money for this. You save money because you get pizza. And what you are not paying for food while you're in college because you have the connection at Pizza Hut through this apprenticeship.
How long before you get tired of just eating Pizza Hut pizza though every single day?
Bro, Pizza Hut is definitely.
I'll let you know when I get there in my life. Dan.
Right. Pizza Hut is definitely not in the top of my list at all for pizza places, but you know,
not upper echelon.
If I got free pizza in college, it seems like a win-win.
Yeah, you probably do become pretty popular socially speaking.
Yep.
If you just
helps my social status. I need to balance out the nerdom that I took out. Get some cool points with free pizza.
Preston went more like bringing up the kind of the ethical dilemma of this, perhaps. But this to me seemed like one of the ones that was probably the most work of any of the classes on this list. Too.
I agree.
Like you're just working a job.
It's like actual man. It's just a job. It's just a job that they're going to offer to teach you about some things.
And then at the light at the end of the tunnel is getting a job at Pizza Hut. I don't know.
That would not be my aspiration. That would not be my reason to take the class.
Maybe Pizza Hut.
The reason to take the class
is
to get free food. I will be real with you guys. I did not even read past the name of the class, so I have no idea what's happening here. I just know I'm getting pizza.
It just says focus on skills related to financial analysis and food production.
I will say this harkens back to an actual good class I did have in college where it was a shorter one, maybe like a half semester, but the entire idea of the class was every week we went to a different locally owned business in town and basically just asked them about their business. And like all we had to do was just bring questions. We asked them like how they started it and like what their numbers looked like. And they would they had already agreed to like open up very specific details about their business, like revenues and expenditures and that kind of stuff. And like it was incredibly helpful. Like
that seems like such a beneficial class for like life.
And we went to all sorts of different kinds of things, like an antique store and a brewery. And like it was so great. I loved that so much.
But yeah, my pick is Pizza Hut.
All right, pick his Pizza Hut.
Okay.
Boom. Free pizza.
How many different drafts could
Voters-
that apply to? Just picking Pizza Hut.
Exactly. You come
That's
into the
fair.
draft, don't even know what the topic is. Just Pizza Hut. We'll get you in.
Let's just draft drafts where Pizza Hut could be a pick.
Yeah, there you go.
Something I want to do with Mike, we've done this once with Pat, is where we don't know what the draft is going to be until like we start recording, and we have several.
We
things
have
that
like
it
a
could be,
dozen
and then we have
ideas and spin the wheel. Yeah.
the random.org spits it out, and we
That
just
sounds
draft.
like a friggin' Nerds podcast draft.
Well, the problem
Yeah,
is
pretty much.
we need to come up with 12 ideas, and we barely come up
Yeah,
with
that's hard.
one idea
Listen,
every week.
Yeah, and we're that's right. We're not even doing episodes every week, and we still struggle.
Yeah,
you know?
it's down to the wire most times.
Scraping the bottom of the barrel. We're also starting to scrape the bottom of the barrel of this draft here, Preston.
Oh boy.
It's your fifth pick, your second to last pick. What do you got?
Well, I'm struggling because a lot of these have overlap with things that I have already taken.
Hang on. Can we go back and just get a soundbite of you saying, "Well, I'm struggling."
Well, I'm
and just
struggling here,
replay that
Dan.
Anytime. That feels like a very reusable soundbite to me.
yes.
Oh my god. Did you just
my-
drop
Was
a
that a rim
guitar?
shot? Shing.
It was
that
a
noise?
PlayStation controller, but it hit the spring of my mic boom.
Oh boy.
Oh, dang.
All right, well, let me give you
Sorry
a clean
about
one then, Dan. Well, I'm struggling.
No, we got it the first time. It won't be topped. You said it so perfectly.
All right, well, this is tough. Because all of these a lot of them have overlap with the Miley Cyrus pick that I made.
You're looking music.
Yeah. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take another class that is basically akin to anthropology. And I'm going to take Queen Bees, Wannabes, and Mean Girls from Colorado College, the class based on the movie Mean Girls. Fascinating. I think
It's another like psychological like why class, right?
absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think takes me into... I didn't have any like movie, TV, or IP or anything that you guys did. So I think it takes me into that. Well, I had Hunger
Okay,
Games,
yeah, no,
guess,
I like it.
So.
Yeah, this is the description in the article. The class is focused on understanding how and why certain girls become Regina George types and how far they'll go to maintain their queen bee status.
Doesn't that seem a little problematic?
It seems a
as
little dated,
course
Dan.
topic?
It seems a little dated. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
I didn't read the description, so...
like there's no doubt in my mind that a 68-year-old man teaches this class.
Yes.
Preston is going to become a mean girl here on Drafted. Has he already reached that status, Dan? Is he already a mean girl, or
Is Preston a mean girl? No, I think Preston is
Gretchen Wieners.
No, you're the Tim Meadows character.
Oh. Okay.
I can totally see that.
That's
You're the principal. Yeah.
I love it.
Okay.
You're doing your damnedest to stay afloat.
Just trying to stay alive in this hellhole. Listen, when I took this choice, I thought it would be more about the challenges presented towards young women, which again is part of my theme of expanding my horizons. It doesn't seem to be that. So
No.
all right,
No, it's a how-to to
it
become a
seems a
mean
little-
girl.
yeah, it's much more akin to why women are bad and we shouldn't trust them, which I don't love.
Yeah.
But I took it,
Yeah.
and that is the nature of the show. So here we are.
You're committed. You said it.
You
It's
gotta
there.
live with it, you know. You gotta roll.
Oh,
with
When
my
you
God, boy.
when you only read the headline and not read the description, you end up with Pizza Hut apprenticeship or slave labor and how to become a mean girl.
it. Yeah.
If what Preston just said isn't the perfect encapsulation of just the average Preston 5th round pick of this show, I don't know what is. well, I did it. There's nothing I can do about it now.
So here we are.
Oh boy. I love you, Preston.
Yeah, thanks, pal.
Okay, what is my 5th round pick here? I think I'm going to go with rockets and instrumentation.
Oh, I was so hoping that was going to loop back around.
Yeah, I'm
me.
a little surprised this one lasted this long.
It's a trap.
It does seem like it's a little. It's probably going to be work. I'm actually going to have to apply like science thinking and stuff.
Yeah.
But this really is my one class where I'm really going to apply myself. I think a lot of my others are going to be pretty easy street. So I don't mind one enriching class. This also is one that if it goes well, it's going to rocket me into a very successful career. But it also just seems fun.
And if it goes bad, you are going to be investigated for terrorism.
I don't think that is worst case scenario. I got to be honest. I think it's a little higher than that. But it just seems fun, and you get to go to Black Rock, Arizona, launch your rockets. I don't know. This one just seems fun to me.
So I like how we talked about earlier. The scuba versus outer space. This would be the equivalent of going outer space. You get to shoot rockets. And pretend like they're going to outer space.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a lot of pretending there.
Yeah,
there's a lot of imagination.
When you're a kid and you're pretending with rockets, you just expand upon that and take a college course on it.
This just feels like it's going to end up being 14 weeks of intense science and one field trip where you jump on that little balloon and watch the rocket go up 30
feet. It's
fun
fun science. It's building a rocket. Haven't you ever seen it?
Listen, I think the more you get into the details of that science, the less fun it's going to become pretty quickly.
I don't know, man. I think space is cool. And I know I said I would rather scuba than go into space.
That's so interesting.
And that is true.
Listen, if you take away one thing from this podcast, space is cool.
Listen, I've always felt that way. I wish I had a more math-oriented brain because like my true dream job, if I were someone else, would be, to be an astronomer. I think that'd be really cool. Study space seems really cool. So that's why you build a rocket, so you can do that. So you don't have to go into space and die a horrible...
There you go. You let other people do that.
Death, yeah.
What if you build the rocket that causes the death, though?
That's what I'm saying.
That's, are they related to me? No big deal.
We're the prince. We're the prince. I wasn't there.
Listen, if I learned anything from the sociology of Miley Cyrus, it's that the death of other human beings. No, sorry, the Hunger Games, class politics, and marketing. It's that, death isn't that big of a deal.
Okay.
I will say this, Dan. You did mention earlier, it may have been Preston, I can't remember. What was your favorite actual college class that you took? Astronomy was up there on the top of my list. So I'm with you. I love space. I love studying space and the wonders of it. So that rockets and instrumentation was on my list because of that. And you get to build a rocket at the end of the class. Like,
thank you, Mike.
But here's the downfall. There is going to be a lot of math.
Cut this part out, Preston.
A lot of math and a lot of science. You've got to be committed. Otherwise, your rocket's not going to fly.
Listen, I think this has got to be a group project of sorts, right? You guys have seen October Sky, right? Jake Gyllenhaal, Homer Hickam, and the Rocket Boys. No, you've not.
A long time ago, but yeah,
it's so good. It's about these guys who live in like this teeny tiny coal town of West Virginia. In the 50s? Yeah, 50s, like early Red Scare type deal, early space race, and they just start building rockets and they get really good at it. But it's mostly like two guys that do all the thinking, the heavy lifting mentally. So I'm gonna be one of the other two guys.
You're gonna tag along.
I'm gonna be there for the fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a tag alonger.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, and then my final pick here. I've got a couple on my list that both would be good. A few that would be good, really. But I think I'm gonna go. I don't know. This is tough because I could go more well-rounded, or I could screw Preston out of getting the last kind of like fun outdoorsy one when he doesn't have one yet. And I think that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take tree climbing.
Oh.
See, the plot twist is I was never going to take this because it sounds dangerous.
No, you're roped. It says in the description that you're roped in.
I am ridiculously clumsy. I will find a way to hurt myself on this thing. I will create the liability that gets this class shut down forever and ruins it for everybody else.
What are y'all's thoughts on heights, though? Like, what is
Not
is
good.
that something that
Height's bad.
Yeah,
The fact
If
that I'm
I'm
on the
like-
second
if I'm
story
like-
of my home right now is giving me anxiety.
Really?
Yeah. I know that there are stairs
If I'm
about
super
30
high up,
feet away.
it can make me a little nervous. But climbing trees, I'd have no problem.
Oh my gosh, I'd be terrified. I'm with Preston on this. Second story. I was on this show for the Christmas episode, right? We did a huge Christmas thing. You know, I'm committed to Christmas lights and decorations. I am a nervous wreck if I have to go up a ladder that is above 5 feet. If I get to that, like if I go to the point where it's higher than me, higher than my eyeballs usually are, my feet are there. I'm terrified of heights. So
All right,
tree
Preston,
climbing.
Yeah,
what you
do
fix.
the whooshy sound. It's time for the whooshy sound, and also time for your final pick of the draft.
Okay. For in the future, Dan, the whooshy sound comes at the beginning of the Patreon segment. So nobody's going to hear.
Not the end.
Well, the Patreon subscribers don't hear the whooshy sound. So if you're saying, okay, now do the whooshy sound when the segment's over,
Oh yeah, I guess so.
But
Some people
sometimes-
just hear it the one time.
it's okay. I'm just going to
Sometimes
have to
you
do an unbelievable amount of editing for this episode. You absolute bastard. Yeah. All right. Well, for my last pick, I am taking just the pure value. This is like the former number one prospect that came in with a bum knee. So they just keep dropping and dropping, and you don't really know how far they're going to drop. But whoever does finally scoop them up gets some good value out of it, assuming everything goes to plan. And I'm going to take from NYU, the evolution of Taylor Swift. There's a little bit of overlap in my Miley Cyrus thing here.
You've got all the lists.
But
yeah.
the Swifties are going to come support me. Because as we know, everybody who listens to Drafted is also Swiftie. Right, Dan? It's a huge overlapping crowd, I think. Probably. Maybe.
I mean, everyone in the fucking world apparently is a huge Swiftie.
Be more upset about it. Be more mad
I know.
about it, Dan.
Listen,
Jeez.
Listen, if everyone knows that I hate things that everyone likes. Okay,
That is true.
And
Makes you a great
seemingly
person
there's
to have on
nothing-
the show.
It's seemingly there's nothing in the world more liked right now than fucking Taylor Swift. So
Wow.
you know that
You really do
tell you
hate
how I
her.
feel. But I just am not a fan. But this is a good pick. I think you're right, especially in the 6th round. People are going to see this and be like, "Why wasn't this the first pick overall?" Probably, because there'll be like a segment of people who feel that way. So you're right. I think it's a tremendous steal in the 6th round. I just couldn't bring myself to do it because
Do you want to explore
my
that?
feelings
Why
on it,
you have a difficult time with successful women?
well, maybe if the successful women weren't all like pretty white women, I wouldn't have so much problem with it.
I will say this because you took the the Miley Cyrus class. I was aiming to take this evolution.
It does feel a little overlappy, Preston.
Yes, and you're looking at the evolution of both Taylor Swift and Miley
I
Cyrus.
think it'll be an interesting comparison.
But at the same time, you're going to get confused. You're going to forget things. You're like, was that
Yeah.
Miley
Yeah, you
Swift?
may get their
Or was that-
stories.
Was,
man.
Miley
was
Swift or
Dolly
Taylor
Parton
Cyrus?
the godmother of Taylor Swift or Miley Cyrus?
You're not going to be able to keep it straight.
Very great value though, and sometimes you have to just value.
Yeah, I
to
basically
steal
drafted
there.
2 quarterbacks back to back. But listen,
Yeah, that's not
Right.
a great fit.
one of them's going to
Hey,
pan
worked out
out.
for Washington. Worked out for Washington for a very short while.
Yeah,
Didn't it,
the
Mike?
shortest possible
That's right,
while.
100%. Oh man,
All right, Mike. Who's your Kirk Cousins?
my
Your final
Kirk
pick?
Cousins.
Your Kirk
That's right.
Cousins.
That draft was a roller coaster, but when they it turned out to work out pretty well.
Yeah, you guys
For
won how
Washington
many?
in that
How many Super Bowls? How many
we've
deep
won
playoff
one-
runs?
We've won one playoff game in like 2 decades, so
Got it. Got it. Worked out super good though.
yeah.
You have more ACL
Man,
tears in a week on that field
I know.
than one
know.
playoff games.
I'm just like, I don't want to go on a tangent for
Yeah, sorry.
Washington.
No, go ahead.
No, you're good. I could have a whole podcast episode on that. I'm trying to decide if I want to double down on food related things.
Oh boy.
Being at college,
Take the one you're thinking about. I think if it's the
Or-
one I think you should take the one you're thinking about.
if I want to double down on practical, application.
I know which one you're thinking of for that.
Why
Don't
the
take
hell
that
would you
either.
do that?
Don't take that either.
Or if I want to double, maybe 1, 2, 3, triple down on just nerd television. And I think I'm just gonna do screw it. I'm in college. I love pizza. And I love ice cream.
Nice.
I'm taking cow to cone from Penn State.
Yeah,
where
that's a great pick.
you get to, it teaches everything from producing ice cream to managing an ice cream company. I would love to have a dessert, a free dessert with my free pizza. And I feel like this pairs really well with that sentiment. Now, the only thing here, this seems more like an actual class where you're learning things, where you're not actually, like working at Pizza Hut. You're actually learning how to do, produce ice cream, manage an ice cream company, and you get some ice cream.
Apparently, this is where Ben and Jerry's got their start.
There's no
Look how
way
successful
that's
they
true.
are, guys.
Not a chance. There's no way.
Let's look it up.
So I'm doubling up pizza with ice cream with my 6th and final selection.
I will pile on and say I also think that's a good pick. I like it. I was considering it, so
Appreciate
it's
it.
good.
The other one that I was looking at while you're looking up to see if Ben and Jerry actually went to this class, I was looking at something that I kind of know stuff about, so I feel like I would do well in it. But iPhone application development feels very practical. You got a job waiting on the other side.
If we were
of
drafting of these classes, how to make the most amount of money, then that would be up there for sure.
Exactly. But instead, I went ice cream.
Yeah.
This is from the Ben and Jerry's Wikipedia. All right. Company was founded by Ben Cohen and Jerry Greenfield, who had been friends since their childhood in American New York. Although Greenfield finished college, he was unable to get into medical school. Cohen was out of school. But in 1977, Cohen and Greenfield completed a correspondence course in ice cream making from Pennsylvania State University's Green Room.
Wow.
It's true.
Wow.
Also, interestingly, fascinating really, Cohen has severe anosmia, which means he can't smell.
What?
So he relies on mouthfeel and texture to provide variety in his diet.
Honestly, that makes a lot of sense because their ice cream has
That's
the
why they mix
most
stuff
texture bits.
Yeah, true. Interesting.
He can't smell.
Well, which one of the two of you will be my Jerry? If I'm Ben, who wants to be Jerry?
I'm in.
All right,
I'm
Dan.
going to be the thwarted second ice cream maker that just gets all their patents stolen by the two of you buffoons.
Dan and Mike Ice Cream going to rival Ben and Jerry's. Let's go.
I think it should be Mike and Dan's. That's got a better ring to it.
Or we could have a dap sauce. Somehow dap sauce should be worked into that.
That's what we'll call our chocolate fudge.
There you go.
Dap
I like it.
sauce?
I like it.
Nice.
Dap sauce.
All right, Cataconia. That was the one that I was debating taking with my last pick instead of tree climbing. Great pick, Mike. That is the final selection of the best college semester draft. Here are our what do you call it? Schedule? What do you call your collection of classes?
Our semester schedule.
Yes.
Here's our
semester
Schedule.
Here's our
I feel like there's a more accurate word that I'm just blanking on because I've
me too.
not been in college for
class list
8 years now. All right, anyway, Mike has Harry Potter, literary tradition and popular culture, Game of Thrones, basic scuba, dealing tactfully with difficult people, Pizza Hut apprenticeship in Cow to Cone. He's going to be just a whole food magnet after this.
The difficult people class seems so out of place in this list.
It really does. It really does. It's like, this guy is a nerdy food guy.
Also apparently hates everybody.
I'm gonna
It'll be helpful when we're starting our ice cream business, Mike.
100%. That's exactly what I was going to say. Yes,
tactfully with a lot of difficult people. Preston has surviving the zombie apocalypse, catastrophes in human behavior, Japanese swordsmanship, sociology of Miley Cyrus, Hunger Games, class politics and marketing, Queen Bees, wannabes, and Mean Girls. That's just a ridiculous class. Evolution of Taylor Swift. I have beekeeping apprenticeship, surfing, wasting time on the internet, K-pop Scribner seminar, rockets and interpretation, and tree climbing. All right, so we have so much more to break down about the draft after one more quick time. This episode of Drafted is sponsored by FlatlineParty.com, the absolute best place to torture your eyes with a colorful mess of art. Flatline Party is a fresh-off-the-block small business selling colorful shirts and, in the near future, other knickknacks as well. Aaron also does commissions, so if you're looking for some silly Twitch emotes or some art to make your YouTube channel look more handsome, shoot him a message. I'm happy to announce that all of our lovely listeners can use the code DRAFTEDPARTY to get a whopping 10% off apparel over at FlatlineParty.com. That's code DRAFTEDPARTY in all caps for 10% off. He's got great designs over there, so please do go check them out. You can also support this small business by following him over at flatline.party on Instagram. Okay, I know I had a few classes still on my list that I ended up not taking. Just kind of had higher. Mostly for me, it was just that I had higher. Like, I literally just ranked my classes 1 through 16.
Yep.
For this draft. So the ones that I left were just not as high as the ones that I ended up taking. So I'll go first, but I want to hear your guys as well. What were the classes you had on that you're prepared to take that you ended up not taking for whatever reason? I had the iPhone application development class. That was kind of right there with my rockets and instrumentation as like an actual, like the two most applicable classes that could make me a rich person after college. Mm-hmm. Probably the iPhone application development might be, a more direct, lucrative venture, but also seemed probably like more work and more boring than the rockets. So that's why I went with rockets. I also had Shakespeare to RuPaul Drag Entertainment. That seemed like a very fun class. But you guys didn't take enough of my higher picks for me to contend that one. I had Beyonce 101. That, the queen bee. You want to talk about queen bees? Beyonce right there. And then I had the art of selfies as well. That seemed like, kind of fun and silly and easy, but also maybe like practical for someone like me who works in social media stuff.
Of the 5 I have left, those were all in my list.
Yeah,
nice.
Same. You should have taken the Beyonce 101 to partner with your beekeeping class.
Oh. Missed opportunity.
Oh.
That's a missed opportunity.
You're right. You could have
made
I
want to
cool,
go
like Queen Bee Honey crossover and made a boatload of cash.
Damn it! And then think about like the Beyonce bee ice cream I could have made with Mike.
Oh yep. My gosh!
Yep,
Damn.
honey ice cream.
This is how he loses the partnership for the ice cream company. He didn't take it.
What a waste of opportunity. Preston, do you have any more before I just say all the other classes that we could have taken here for the people at home?
Not really. I liked the Nicki Minaj one, which would have been pretty cool. Just studying her impact on hip hop would have been fun.
So just so you know, these are the ones that were on the list or else we taken that have not been mentioned or taken by any of us. Taylor Swift, All Too Well, which was at Stanford, like their Taylor Swift class. The Nicki Minaj, the Black Barbie FemC, and Hip Hop Feminisms at Cal Berkeley, so they're serious there. Harry Styles and the Cult of Celebrity at Texas State. Literary contests and contexts, the Taylor Swift songbook at UT Austin. Let's see, what else? Kanye versus Everybody, Black Poetry and Poetics from Hughes to Hip Hop at Georgia State. I think you just can't touch Kanye West.
I think they made this list a while ago, and that was on my do not touch list for sure.
Agreed. Yeah. That was on the bottom of my list. Black Poetry and Poetics would 100%.
Fantastic.
Would be interested in that.
Yeah.
Hughes to Hip Hop, let's go.
Through the lens of Kanye West is where it starts.
Because Kanye West is the face of the class, I would be not part of that at all.
Yeah. Breaking down Breaking Bad at SUNY Buffalo.
That was the other one. That was the only other like nerdy type show. You binge watch Breaking Bad, take a class on it. I like it. Though I will be honest, I've actually never seen Breaking Bad.
Well, this would be a good opportunity then.
I tried to watch it, and it was too stressful for me.
Oh.
And then I did watch the series finale when everyone else was watching it.
You have weird habits like that. You'll just jump right in at the end so that you
Just
can
go straight to the
you can
end.
attempt to be part of the online conversation.
Do you read books? Do you just go from like chapter 1 to the end?
Yeah.
So, when I was a kid, I definitely would be like, I'm going to skip to the final page.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah, that's my weird thing. Preston says that he doesn't eat mashed potatoes, so
I mean,
we're even.
Okay.
And then this one kind of got mentioned when who was it that took? When Mike took dealing tactically with difficult people, stress management at the College of New Jersey. Which
I was debating which of the two I should take because that was the other one on my list.
that should be like a high school course. That shouldn't be a college course. Like we should
Great stress management in college. Have one less class to take. How about that?
That should be like a freshman year of high school.
You're getting drops.
If you fail this class, you're kicked out of school. How do you deal with that stress? All right. What was the worst pick of the draft?
Oh, Preston, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I think it's the Mean Girls pick.
Really?
I think it's the Mean Girls pick. Yeah. I think the idea of reading the headline of it for the psychology aspect of like how they came to pass would have been interesting, but the fact that it seems like the class is, hey Preston, I'm going to teach you how to take these tips, these tactics, and apply them.
It's true. I mean, I did admit to not reading the details of the course, so it's possible it could get very awry.
Yeah, the slant does seem tough, and in fact rather misogynistic.
Well, that's not going to come through on the graphics, so.
True.
That's very valid. Preston Mo's the worst pick.
Well, the one where you're basically not learning very much and also having to do a job and not getting paid for it, which is the Pizza Hut apprenticeship.
the other time that we did not read a description.
Listen, I like to give our guests a lot of leeway here.
Yes.
But what did you think a Pizza Hut apprenticeship was going to be? You're kind of trying to hide behind this. We're not reading the description excuse, but I feel like it's right there in the title.
Yeah, I expected it to be like you.
You were like a professional pizza taster, seemed to be what you were describing.
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh, that should be on this list. That should be on this list. No, I thought it'd be similar to the cow to cone, where you. It's almost like you would start up your own pizza place, like how to apply that to start up your own pizza place. Sure. I saw pizza on the list. I equaled college.
You saw pizza and stopped reading is what happened.
Yeah, and I equaled free food. And so free food as a college student is a huge plus. How many hours do we have to apply to this apprenticeship? Is it just like the length of a class? Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Get free food out of it.
Okay. Even the amount of free food you're expecting to get, I think, is a little high. So they do have to sell some of the pizzas.
Yeah,
they don't have to know.
I actually thought it was Game of Thrones.
Really?
Just for the sheer reading. I know you've already read the books, but for people that haven't, that are going to see it and be like, I don't want to read all the fucking Game of Thrones books.
I can understand that.
10 billion words
especially this is a one semester. Like if there's a Game of Thrones 1, Game of Thrones 2, like you move up, Game of Thrones 101, you go to Clash of Kings in the next semester. But yeah, the fact that you're cramming it into one semester, I could understand that if you haven't read the book.
And it's at the University of Virginia too, so I feel like maybe it was at the University of California in Santa Barbara or something. It's like that won't be so bad. But University of Virginia, I have a hard time seeing it just being a total like joke off class.
It's a good point there, Dan.
Is that fair?
They're rigorous.
Thank you. Yeah. They take education seriously up there.
Yeah.
Unlike at UC Santa Barbara, am I right, boys?
Yeah, fuck them. Let's get them.
Oh man.
Okay, I feel like we're all going to take our own college. My tongue is right there for the word I'm looking for like your collection of classes. It's not rubric, but the word's out there. The listeners will tell me.
Syllabus.
I feel like it's
Not
college
syllabus.
schedule because, like, yeah, it's not a syllabus. That's the overview of the class.
But I feel like
Stuff you need
there's
for the
something to do
class.
with like I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think you're
I've been doing this
thinking
show
much
too
on
long.
this.
I've been doing. I don't know. My words aren't coming to me anymore.
They're not.
Are you? You got something for me, Preston?
No,
I saw you.
I googled it
were
and
looking
it
at-
doesn't exist. So I'm not really sure what you're looking for, friend.
Class schedule, like it is your college class schedule for the semester.
Your
All right.
course load.
I just feel so defeated now. Whose class schedule are you taking? If you know after your own, if you can't take your own, whose are you taking as backup? You were late to registration. You missed out on all your classes. Who's runner up?
I mean, I do think I would probably take my own, but I think Dan has the picks that I would go for. One, I don't have to actually just get a job I don't want. But
You are digging into one pick on my list. One pick.
He really hates that pick.
Yes.
but I mean, I get to take surfing, which seems fun. I joke about the tree climbing, but if I'm careful enough, it should be fine.
It said specifically you're
It's like
roped
ropes
it.
course type stuff. Well, and hey, maybe
Yeah.
I could stand to get a little better at it, considering my clumsiness. So
Yeah,
maybe it will
You'll
help.
conquer your fears.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if I'm roped in. I still would be terrified.
It's true. I'd be a little spooked, but I'll get over it. But yeah, I'm taking dance.
Interesting, man. Preston, I was gonna take yours, but after you're harping on my Pizza Hut pick, I feel like I should just keep harping on the Mean Girls
I knew that was a
selection
risk.
because
I knew it was a
I
risk.
was gonna ignore the Mean Girls pick because you have such a dystopian.
Are we gonna get to the point where people are like not working at face value, and then where it's like, all right, if you pick Daniel's pick as the worst pick,
Right.
your pick as the worst pick.
No, I'm gonna stay true to it. I'm gonna ignore the Mean Girls class. I'm just not gonna go to that one, but I am gonna go to everything else on Preston's list. I would love the Japanese swordsmanship class paired with the zombie apocalypse, paired with Hunger Games. Like that sounds like it would be amazing. And then you kind of double up with the Taylor Swift and Miley Cyrus study, but that's okay. Both of those are very interesting as well. But the dystopian aspect of Preston's list, I'm all in on.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Preston's as well. Mostly just for his first two picks.
Nice.
I think the first two picks were great. He there weren't really any like chords struck with me with the remainder of his four picks, but those two.
Did my Pizza Hut pick really sink my team that much, Dan?
Not as much to me as for Preston. Honestly, to me, like I don't want to read all of the Game of Thrones books, so that's a pretty hard out for me. I
That's
gotta
a
be
big
honest.
tough one.
That's
Yeah.
a pretty
and then
hard
you gotta
out.
go to your job in between reading.
I will. To be fair, the Game of Thrones description never stated the requirement of reading all the books.
That's true.
In the time
I'm
frame of the
extrapolating
semester.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's a
because
study of the books with the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe you'll just be reading excerpts, like certain parts of the books. But so I've not read the books, but I have heard from my sister and from other people who have tried to read the books as well that they're a bit tough to read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very descriptive, description heavy.
I realized
there's
that it
three-
took me 4 times as long as the first episode of Game of Thrones to read the scene that happens before the intro music.
Yeah.
Like, and then all those characters die and you never see them again. So I'm like, wow, that
You'll
was a lot of time
see-
invested for nothing.
You'll see 4 paragraphs of Martin describing a button on a jacket or something like it. You learn to skim over the descriptions and
That's
go.
the sign of a good author, learning to skim over certain sections.
But
Yes,
that's the thing.
that'd be tough
His story, his plot, his characters are so well done that you're willing to skip over that to continue the story and continue the character growth.
But you had picks I did like, Mike. I mean, like Cow to Cone was definitely one that I very strongly considered taking to the back half. Basic Scuba I think would be fun, and I think yours is going to play very well to voters because although I wouldn't have taken it nearly that high, I think the Harry Potter. I think you're right. Especially we're going to get the crossover voters. We're going to get the friggin' nerds over here.
Yeah.
And they're going to be voting for Harry Potter. Just like that's the fact of the matter. There's going to be an
ruined our
avalanche
polls.
of friggin' nerds voters.
Got to play to the vote sometimes.
Yes, boy, you really do. You really do, Mike. That wraps us up for this episode of Drafted. Mike, thank you so much for coming on.
Always a blast. Thanks for having me again.
I know, every time the friggin' nerds come on, you guys do your spiel, but, I think you should do it again. I'll tell the people about the new merch shop that we were looking at before we started recording.
Yeah. So you can check us out each and every week on Twitch, twitch.tv/friggin' we're over on Twitter, X, whatever the heck it's called.
God.
Trying to continue to tweet or whatever it is over there, but not super excited about it.
What do they call tweets?
Out.
I think they're just called posts. Like, I think it's like reposting now instead of retweeting. And I'm like, Elon, what happened? What are you doing? That's a class study. What the hell did Elon do to Twitter?
What a sad man.
Yeah. Anyway, we're still over there. We also have a YouTube, youtube.com/friggin' and as Dan mentioned, we do have a new merch shop out there, friggin' Go check it out. We got some really cool new designs out there that appeal to not just Friggin' Nerds fans, but just nerds in general.
Preston, you had something that you wanted me to say.
Oh, God. Yeah. Okay. So I was listening earlier today to friends of the show, Pat and Tad's podcast In the Fields, which is now sort of defunct, but they came back for one episode. And Pat signs off that show with, "It's rich, it's compelling, it's in the fields." Yes, you are wearing the merch. I see. It's a great sign off. And I started thinking, we need a sign off of our own. And the first thing that came to mind stuck with me, and I haven't been able to let it go. And you're going to laugh at it. So what I'm going to need you to do is I'm going to need you to tilt your head away from the camera, and I'm going to need Mike to sort of be more thoughtful than you.
Okay.
So here's our sign off. We've done the thing. Mike's done the plugs. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Go get in a fight with somebody you love.
I approve. That is perfect.
I think we need to add something like a silly fight, a trivial fight.
I was thinking fight was too strong, but argument is too many syllables.
Yes.
Or like go argue with somebody you love, something like that. I feel like it's very close.
Yeah, we'll work it a little.
I love the approach though. That fits your all show so well. I approve.
Because it's what the show is about, is you make somebody listen to it just so you can pick a fight with them.
Yep.
I just, for a lot of people, fighting with somebody you love probably isn't as healthy as it is here on Draft.
It's a good point. What about go argue about something useless? Something like that.
Yeah, listen, we'll workshop.
We're going to workshop.
All right, we'll workshop it.
Yeah.
If you in the Discord, let us know.
Yes.
Okay? Give us some
think.
ideas. Yeah, because if you listen to the show, I don't do a great job of signing off. So
it's different every time. It's chaotic.
That I can just go to. Yeah, it would probably be really beneficial. But yeah, please do hit us up at the Discord. Let us know who you think won the draft, and please do go support the friggin' nerds. They are the sister podcast of Drafted, as you all know, and you guys know how great they are. They're even better together. The only reason it works here is because we get them individually, and Preston and I, can compete with that. But when you get all the friggin' nerds together, they're too powerful.
They're the Infinity Stones.
They're too powerful.
Mike is Mike is the Mind Stone, and Britt is the Reality Stone. James is the Time Stone, and Mario is is it like Strength or Force, something like that? That one.
There's one. It's something like that.
Okay, you know what?
Space, time,
we're gonna have to do this
mind.
offline.
Yes,
but
we
I had
could just become the Megazord.
The Megazord
works.
The momentum. Yeah.
Yeah,
you were really onto something there.
I know. I had it.
You were really onto something. You guys have to make T-shirts now. We said we need to make nicknames for everyone. What do we say Lee's was? We had a nickname for Lee last time Lee was on, and I had forgotten it.
Ooh. Was it Lee?
Was it Lee? Was Lee's nickname Lee?
No, it was something really clever. God damn it. Lee will remember. We'll talk to Lee.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you all for listening so much. We'll try to talk to y'all next week.
Bye, guys.
Try. We'll
Go,
try and
go,
talk.
go argue and bicker horribly and really unhealthily with someone who's very dear to you.
Okay, you know
Pick a
what,
useful
Dan?